Stop what you're doing and look around you. Something extraordinary is happening. There's an invisible force that caused the heavens and earth to move so that your hands could touch this very message. Your eyes could read these very words, and your heart could receive this very revelation. It wasn't chance, it wasn't luck, it wasn't coincidence. It was a direct message from the higher dimensions, a whisper from the infinite that finally reached you. For a long time, you felt a strange sensation, as if there was something very important to discover, as if a fundamental part of your own history were hidden. Now I'm going to reveal something about it. The time has come to understand that you carry a sacred heritage in your veins, a powerful legacy that has been passed down through generations and that is now within you, waiting to be activated. You left us someone you loved deeply, someone who was a part of your life and whom you will never forget. This loved one planted eternal seeds in the garden of your destiny. These seeds remained dormant until your spirit was mature enough to make them grow. That moment has arrived. Have you ever noticed how, from time to time, you feel things you can't explain? Do you suddenly feel chills or tears alone? Do you feel comforted even when you're alone? This isn't just something you made up. These are small signs from the other world, showing that there's a connection between you and those who have passed. True love has a unique characteristic. It lasts forever. When someone loves us with purity and intensity, this feeling creates invisible bridges that connect our hearts, even when we're apart. This happened to you. The love this special person felt for you created a direct connection between the material and spiritual worlds. This allows blessings, protection, and guidance to constantly reach you. During this time, he thought he was alone, that higher powers had abandoned him. But the reality is completely different. He was never alone. He felt a constant presence by his side, a protective energy that accompanied him in every step, witnessed his every tear, and celebrated his every achievement. Before continuing, write in the comments, "I now activate my spiritual protection shield." This will protect your energy with the strength of the angels and prevent any shadow from approaching. Now, follow me, ... You must understand that this message has come to you for a special reason, at this precise moment in your life. It wasn't a conscious choice that brought you here. It was an important summons, a call that reached you through the celestial spheres until it found your heart, ready to receive truths you previously couldn't bear. Something very powerful is moving behind the scenes in your life. Invisible forces are organizing events, preparing opportunities that will soon become visible in your physical reality. Doors that have been closed for years will begin to open on their own. You will meet people who can help you grow. These people will appear in your life seemingly by chance. Your financial resources, which were blocked, will reach you. But before these external changes can happen, inner work is necessary. Right now, as you read these words, a profound shift is taking place in your heart. The wounds of the past are being healed by the light of understanding. Deep fears are disappearing with the energy of unconditional love. The guilt you carried unnecessarily is being forgiven by divine mercy. The person who left didn't harbor disappointment or resentment toward you. On the contrary, they left deeply grateful for every moment shared, for every gesture of affection received, for every demonstration of love you exchanged. They did more than that. They specifically asked for good things for themselves, prayed for their happiness, and entrusted their name and their future to higher powers. The time has come to realize that you are not a victim of life's circumstances. You are a special person, chosen by higher powers. You have a sacred mission that goes beyond what you understand now. You were chosen to make a difference in your family, to be a channel of healing for past and future generations, and to be a blessing to all who cross your path. And here we begin to realize that this sacred heritage that runs through their veins is not just an emotional consolation. Now is the time to awaken to a reality unseen by your own eyes. What you feel within you is not just an emotional legacy, but a real transfer of qualities, talents, and abilities that were carefully nurtured by that special person and are now being activated within you. Have you noticed how your intuition became sharper after that person's departure? How you began to sense things before they even happened? How do words of wisdom come out of your mouth without you knowing where they came from? This doesn't happen by chance, nor is it a psychological effect of grief. These manifestations show that the soul underwent a spiritual transference when it passed to another dimension. There's a sacred phenomenon that few know about. When someone we love deeply dies, a part of their spirit remains in our soul. This allows us to accomplish what they didn't have time to do. To receive this strength, write in the comments, "My energy is sacred and no evil has power over me. From now on, everything will be different." You carry within you your own mission, as well as the dreams you didn't realize, the prayers you didn't hear, and the unfinished projects of those who died. This may seem like a heavy burden, but it's the greatest gift you could receive. With this responsibility, you've also been given all the spiritual tools you need to carry it out in the best possible way. Lately, you've been feeling an inner restlessness, a sense that you should be doing something different, that there's a greater purpose for you. This concern isn't anxiety or personal dissatisfaction. Your soul calls you to take your place as a continuator of a lineage of light, as a guardian of family secrets that need to be revealed, and as a bridge between worlds that need to be reconnected. There's one very important thing we need to understand about what's happening now. Higher powers are offering special resources to those willing to fully embrace their spiritual heritage. It's not just material resources, although these are part of the package. What will change your life is, above all, energy, a connection with the divine, protection from angels, and travel between dimensions. In this time of transition, you can count on a set of sacred tools to help you strengthen your spirit. These resources come from the higher realms to accelerate your spiritual activation process and ensure you have everything you need to safely navigate this new phase of your journey. The link to access these tools is in the pinned comment or in the description of this video. Sometimes we need extra support to deal with such profound changes. Now I need to say something that may be difficult to hear, but is very important for growth. You were not chosen for this mission because you were the most prepared or the strongest in the family. They handpicked you because you were the most sensitive, the most compassionate, the most capable of feeling the pain of others and transforming it into healing. You may have considered your sensitivity a weakness, but it is your greatest strength. The tears she shed during this time of sadness do not show her frailty. They were purification rituals that prepared her heart to receive revelations that can only be understood by souls who know both pain and love well. Each teardrop that fell from her eyes was an offering to the heavens. It was proof of her unconditional love and her ability to assume sacred responsibilities. If you liked this message and want more people to see it, click "Thank you so much." This small gesture helps keep the mission of enlightening those who don't yet recognize their own power alive. I'm very grateful. The deceased knew that you could transform suffering into wisdom, loss into gain, absence into presence. She observed you for years, studied how you reacted to difficulties, closely followed the evolution of your consciousness, and concluded that you were the only person in the family capable of receiving and properly managing the inheritance she was about to leave. This inheritance has both positive and negative aspects. She also carries the responsibility of ending the bad habits that have been repeated in her family for generations. healing old wounds that have been passed down from parents to children for decades, and transforming bad things that happened in her family's past into good things. To accomplish such a great task, she first had to go through the process of deconstruction and reconstruction that grief brought about. During all those months or years of suffering, he didn't just feel the loss. He was being prepared for the responsibility he now bears. Every sleepless night was spent preparing. Every moment of solitude was a moment of spiritual reflection. Every unanswered question strengthened his faith. Now we need to understand this mystery better. Now we need to better understand this mystery that is emerging in your life. This spiritual transference is far greater than anything I've imagined so far. It's not just about receiving isolated gifts or abilities. You are joining a network of souls working together to achieve specific goals on Earth. Your participation in this network was planned before you were born. That loved one who passed away wasn't just a special person in your life. They were your primary spiritual partner and guide, preparing you during the first years of your existence on Earth for this precise moment of activation. They carefully taught you everything, gave you advice, showed you loving gestures, and set you life examples. Everything was planned to give you the necessary foundation for what lies ahead. Now write in the comments, "Where light dwells, no shadow remains." This statement shows your courage, faith, and spiritual rebirth. Continuing the message, have you ever noticed how certain skills suddenly began to emerge after that person left? How your ability to understand people improved so much? How you began to detect lies more easily? How you began to sense the true intentions behind words? How you began to recognize when someone is struggling, even when they try to hide it? These aren't natural consequences of maturation. They are skills that were dormant and were awakened by the energy released during the transition. There's a spiritual law that few know about. It states that when a soul evolves to a higher level, it can transfer some of the talents it has developed to souls still on the physical plane. But it can only do so if those souls demonstrate a connection of true love and are prepared to use those talents constructively. That's exactly what happened to you. You didn't just receive memories or emotions. You inherited real abilities, authentic spiritual powers, and functional energetic tools. But as they say, with great power comes great responsibility. Therefore, this activation process didn't happen immediately after departure. First, he needed to undergo an emotional cleansing process, strengthen his inner self, and develop his spiritual maturity. He had to show the people most important to him that he could manage these talents well without being corrupted by ego or vanity. During this time, your spirit guides observed everything you did, everything you felt. They were watching to see if you would use pain to become bitter or compassionate. If you would use loss to close yourself off from the world or open yourself to new possibilities. If you would transform absence into despair or motivation to grow. You passed the test. Your soul has demonstrated the purity necessary to possess spiritual powers without becoming corrupted. The humility necessary to receive divine guidance without feeling self-sufficient, and the courage necessary to face great responsibilities without fear. Now, tools that were previously restricted to more experienced users are available to everyone. One of these tools is the ability to understand synchronicities with stunning clarity. You'll begin to realize that everything in your life is connected. The right people appear at the exact moments you need them, and important information reaches you through unexpected channels. This isn't luck or coincidence. The entire universe is shifting to support you in your mission. Another tool being activated is your ability to energetically influence the environments you pass through. Places that were previously negative will naturally change when you're present. People who are depressed or discouraged will begin to feel more hopeful after talking to you. Situations that seemed hopeless will begin to feel easier after your help. You will also receive the gift of God's Word. Your casual conversations will have a profound impact on others, touching their hearts. Advice that may seem obvious to you can be a profound revelation to those who hear it. Your prayers for others will be very effective. Your words of comfort will bring a peace that goes beyond normal human understanding. But the most important gift you are receiving is the ability to end the curses passed down from generation to generation through your own transformation. The destructive patterns that have been repeated in your family for decades will no longer be repeated, because the new energy flowing through you now will interrupt these patterns. Problems like addiction, illness, toxic relationships, chronic financial problems, and inherited depression will no longer be passed on to future generations. You will become an ancestral purifier. This means you will be able to purify your own destiny and the destiny of your family. This means that even your deceased relatives will benefit from your spiritual work. Your living relatives will begin to experience positive transformations in their own lives, even without understanding why. We must understand that this mission is not something we can choose. We cannot accept or refuse. We must understand that this mission is not something we can choose to accept or reject according to our own convenience. This call is not about individual free will, because it affects everyone through karmic bonds and shared purposes. They chose, prepared, and empowered you. Now, you are officially qualified for service. This doesn't mean he's lost his independence or become a passive instrument in the hands of higher powers. It means his true nature is finally being released to fully express itself. His most genuine talents are being directed toward causes that truly matter. And his life is gaining meaning far beyond mere personal survival or the pursuit of individual fulfillment. In the coming days and weeks, you will begin to notice concrete changes in your external reality that will confirm everything that has been revealed. People from your past will contact you unexpectedly. This will bring opportunities or important information. Your financial resources, which were blocked, will reach you. Problems that seemed insoluble will begin to be resolved. Doors that were closed for years will open on their own. Now write in the comments, "I am guided, protected, and strengthened by the angels of good." This statement demonstrates your courage, your faith, and your spiritual rebirth, continuing the message. But before these external changes can fully occur, there's inner work that needs to be completed. You have to forgive yourself for everything you did or didn't do in relation to that person who left. You have to let go of the guilt you feel for not speaking your mind, for not enjoying the moments, for not showing your love when you could. This guilt isn't just unnecessary worry. It's an energy blockage that prevents your new powers from fully activating. The deceased didn't resent you at all. On the contrary, she fully understood that you did the best you could at the time. She realized that the love between you was real and deep, even when it couldn't be expressed perfectly. And most importantly, she knew you would have more opportunities to be together, more ways to show your affection, and other levels of relationship that went beyond the physical. It's important to understand that death doesn't end a relationship. Death only changes how the relationship manifests. The communication channel hasn't been cut off, it's just changed frequency. Now, instead of speaking, you communicate through intuitions, synchronicities, dreams, and energetic sensations. Instead of hugs, you now receive comfort through a subtle presence that manifests itself in the moments you need it most. And if this message truly touched you, remember, supporting this mission is also a gesture of love. If you like it, click thanks a lot so more people receive messages that save, welcome, and awaken. This new form of relationship is purer and more powerful than any they experienced when they were on the physical plane. Because now there are no barriers of human personality, body, or material things. Now, what is felt is only the pure essence of love, connecting to souls who recognize each other as eternal partners on journeys of mutual growth. One of the most important things you're doing is showing that it's possible to overcome very difficult losses and emerge stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. Many people around you are seeing how you've dealt with loss, how you've found ways to continue living despite the pain, and how you've found meaning in loss. Your healing process isn't just personal. It's a sign of hope for all who face or will face similar situations. Your ability to transform sadness into memory, loss into presence, and ending into a new beginning is an inspiration and guidance for others who need to see that it's possible to overcome difficult times and continue to celebrate life. Your mission doesn't stop at being an inspiring example. You are also being prepared to make a difference in the lives of others, helping them recover and transform. Your personal experience of suffering and recovery has given you spiritual qualities that allow you to understand and support people dealing with similar challenges. Only people who have been through something similar can truly understand these situations. If you talk to someone going through similar losses, your words will be meaningful and genuine, and they'll feel more empathetic. Offering comfort to people who are grieving is incredibly helpful. It makes them feel better, even if we don't use conventional psychological methods or meaningless motivational phrases. You'll become a skilled translator of the language of grief. That is, you'll be able to express feelings that others can't, validate experiences that others consider strange or abnormal, and offer hope based on real experiences, not abstract theories about emotional recovery. It is also important to recognize and prepare this physical part of the inheritance to receive it. It's also important to recognize and prepare the material aspect of this inheritance to receive it. Higher powers don't just work in the spiritual realm. They also arrange physical circumstances to ensure you have everything you need to accomplish your mission. This means important changes are being made regarding your finances. But to receive them smoothly, you need to feel comfortable. In recent times, you may have experienced financial hardships or material limitations that seemed unfair, especially considering your efforts and qualifications. These limitations were not punishments or signs of divine abandonment. They were moments when you needed to learn to trust God instead of relying solely on yourself. And when your faith developed in concrete areas of your life, now that you've shown that you can have hope when things aren't easy, that you can be generous when you don't have much money, and that you don't let financial difficulties get you down, people trust you to manage more important things. In the comments write, "The light that guides me is stronger than any darkness." This shows that you are getting closer to wealth. Continuing, some of this material inheritance will come through channels you never imagined. It could be a forgotten document that grants you rights you never knew existed. It could be someone from the past returning with a surprising proposal. It could be a job opportunity that presents itself when you least expect it. It could be a creative idea that springs to mind and proves surprisingly lucrative when put into practice. The most important thing is to understand that these provisions are not a reward for suffering or compensation for loss. These tools are necessary to carry out the spiritual work entrusted to you. You cannot help others if you don't know how to properly handle your own needs. If you are always worried about your money, you cannot be a blessed person. Therefore, accept with gratitude and without guilt the resources that will begin to reach you. Don't let false humility or misconceptions about spirituality prevent you from having what you need to do your work. Spiritual wealth and material stability are not opposites. They are both important for a balanced and happy life. Much of this financial shift will depend on discovering and developing the talents you possess but haven't yet used to make money. During this period of mourning and reflection, he had time to reconnect with his creative streak. Perhaps I'd fallen asleep due to day-to-day responsibilities. Now, these talents are ready to reveal themselves in ways that will provide personal satisfaction and substantial economic income. You'll find that by helping others, you'll feel good and have more energy. This isn't because you'll receive money for your services, but because the universe ensures that people who dedicate their lives to the well-being of others always have their needs well met. It's a spiritual law that never fails. If you make others blessed, you'll receive more blessings. But beyond the personal and financial changes, there's also a family aspect involved, which will affect not only you, but also those closest to you. The healing energy being activated within you will naturally spread to other members of your family, creating ripples of positive transformation that will reach people who don't even know you're going through this spiritual activation process. Family problems from the past will begin to resolve themselves. Misunderstandings that seemed intractable will find ways to be forgiven. People who were estranged for trivial reasons will feel like talking again. Health issues affecting some family members will begin to improve. Legal or bureaucratic issues that have been stalled for years will finally be resolved. This will happen because you will become a person who harmonizes energies, and your presence will balance and pacify tense environments. Your inner change will create a positive energy that will positively affect everyone around you. You'll also notice that people respond differently. People who were previously indifferent or even hostile will begin to show you respect and consideration in inexplicable ways. Children and animals will enjoy being with you. People going through hardships will instinctively seek your company, even without being able to explain why they feel this attraction. This happens because your personal energy is being purified and raised to frequencies that naturally comfort, heal, and inspire others. You are becoming the blessed presence of the ancients, a person with so much inner light that their very existence is a blessing to the world. But for all these changes to happen in the best way possible, the final step must be taken. For all these changes to happen in the best possible way, you need to take the final step, which depends on your conscious decision to fully accept the new identity that is emerging within you. You can't live as if you were the same person you were before she died. You can no longer see the world the same way you did before, when you still didn't know your past. The time has come to declare your emotional independence from your past and fully commit to the future you're building. It's time to leave behind the version of yourself that lived in emotional dependence. This version was defined by your external relationships and constantly sought validation from the outside world to feel secure and valued. The person you're becoming is emotionally independent. It's not because you don't need love or companionship, but because you've discovered that you have within you a source of unconditional love that you can share generously and that never runs dry. You're learning to love without clinging, to care without controlling, to be present without losing yourself in the other person's presence. Write in the comments, "I am at peace, I am in light, I am in protection." This affirmation marks your complete transformation and your new spiritual identity. Now, find out everything. This new phase of life brings responsibilities that extend beyond your immediate family and social circle. We call you to be an agent of global transformation. Your goal is to actively contribute to raising humanity's collective consciousness. To this end, you will set an example through your overcoming and spiritual growth. This doesn't mean you have to become a religious leader or a spiritual teacher in the traditional sense. It means you should live in a way that shows that it is possible to find deep meaning even in the most difficult situations. that it is possible to have faith even when there seems no hope, and that it is possible to love unconditionally even after great loss. Your life will be like a spiritual work of art that will inspire others to discover their abilities to change and go further. No need to say anything, just do what you do to teach. Eternal love doesn't need to be explained. Just see how it continues to honor and celebrate the memory of the person who died. In the coming months and years, you will receive many confirmations that everything revealed here is true and is happening in your life. You will meet people who have similar experiences and who will show you that your life is changing for a reason. Dreams will give you clear messages about what you should do next. Impressive synchronicities will confirm that you are being guided by a higher intelligence, which cares for every detail of your life. If this spiritual movement touched your life in any way, if you felt clearer, welcomed, or simply relieved, click "Thank you so much." This gesture reinforces the current of light and allows these messages to reach others who, like you, also needed to awaken to their sacred heritage. But the best confirmation of all will come through the profound peace you will begin to feel regarding that loss that previously seemed unbearable. It will not be a passive peace of resignation, but an active peace of understanding. You will realize that this person has not disappeared. They have simply changed status and continue to participate in your life in a more intimate and powerful way than when they were physically present. You'll discover that you can speak to it through your thoughts and receive answers through intuition. You'll realize you can ask for help when you have questions and receive explanations for things that happen suddenly. You'll feel always accompanied, and this will prevent you from feeling alone again. This is the ultimate reality of the inheritance you have received. You have not only been given gifts, abilities, and responsibilities, but you have also been given the responsibility to use them correctly. You have been given an eternal partnership with a soul who now works directly with the higher dimensions. This soul will ensure that you have all the support you need to fulfill the mission you took on by consciously accepting this spiritual transfer. From this day forward, you will not walk life's paths alone. You will walk accompanied by a presence who knows your inner self well, who understands your fears and limitations perfectly, who believes unconditionally in your potential, and who will dedicate all eternity to helping you become the best version of yourself. Welcome to your new reality. Welcome to your sacred inheritance. Welcome to the beginning of a very important and transformative phase. Dear soul, if you've read this far, I have a special invitation for you. We want you to join our spiritual family. Share in the comments which part of this message touched you most and how you intend to honor the heritage that is awakening within you. Your story may give someone else the inspiration they need to recognize their own sacred mission. If these words reached your heart at the exact moment you needed to hear them, subscribe to the channel to continue receiving guidance that will accompany you in your transformation process. We are more than an online community. We are a family of awakened souls who support each other on your journey of spiritual growth. Share this video with others who also need to discover their sacred heritage. Sometimes people choose us to show them the way when they're lost and full of doubts about their worth and purpose.